Welcome, everybody. If you could give me a sound check, that would be great before I start speaking. Just a yes will be fine, and then we'll move on. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Brendan, Tina. Welcome, Sonia. Welcome, everybody. A lovely turnout tonight. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for your comments. And I'll hope to just fine tune what I'm doing tonight down to some golden nuggets of truth. Of course, this is a lifetime of conversation. So 1 hour doesn't give us a huge amount of time, but if we can, fine tune it, as I said, and get the bullet points across so it helps you at least walk the path of a healing path, which we should all be walking right now. It should be like number one, in my opinion. So welcome everybody to this workshop, which includes how to clear dis-ease, sickness, and of course, depression, which is an umbrella of many, many things. Depression, what does that mean? It's just simply a box that we use, a label that we hold on to. And thus we start by saying, never hold on to a label. You are anything that you can be at any given moment, when you want, how you want. Are you a disease? Are you an illness? Are you a label? No, you're not, unless you say you are. I'll give you a great example. One of the things that I tell my clients to do when they are totally paranoid in the field of tests. I need another test. I need a blood test. I need a this. I need a that. Okay, here's a good test. Go into my village now and go straight to the pharmacy. And in the pharmacy, you'll see a machine. Sit down on it and wrap that thing around your arm and put your euro in, and then wait till it tells you what your blood pressure is. And then they come back and they sit down. I give them a healing session. Okay, now please go back and do the same thing. They go back and they put their hand in that machine and the thing blows up, and then they come back with a big smile on their face. So what could you tell me what it was when you first went before the healing session? Just, it's terrible. It was terrible. And when you went back, what was it? Oh, it's back to normal. I'm back to normal. Okay, so what does that say? Healing works. Yes, it does work. And it just shows you that you're not what your label says you are. Okay, so you'll never hear this on mainstream medicine, medical practice. You'll never hear a doctor say that, even though in the village here, Frank, a doctor for many years, I used to sit with him. And I remember one day he says, oh, I've just been to the pharmacy and just checked my blood pressure. And I said to him, seriously, Frank, really? And he says, I know. He changes, he alters. Yeah. So even doctors realize this. I often spoke about when I was doing the over 50 show in Marbella. And again, the same thing happened. A lady came, sat down. I gave her a healing session. She went off and came back with a group of people, and they all looked at me and they said, can we have a word with you? What did you just do on this person? I'm like, just some healing. Yeah, but what did you do? I said, I don't really know what I'm doing. I can't tell you, but I know it's some kind of cleansing and clearing of negative energy. And it somehow helps the body repair itself. Well, we just tested this person and they were literally needed to go to the hospital. This woman walked straight over to me, sat down, 10 minutes. She went back again. They tested her again and she was to normal. They wanted to know. In fact, they were actually fighting. They were angry because I couldn't give them a direct answer of how I healed and why I healed, where I healed, and what I did. I wasn't going to lie to them. I just said, I just placed my hands on the client and just sent good energy. And I am thankful that your client's better. They walked away scratching their heads. The point being is that no matter what illness and sickness you have, it is simply something that can come and go at any given moment. Therefore, the conclusion of that is that sickness and illness is a frequency or energy. an energy which is not vibrating at the frequency and energy and vibration that it should be, which means it's distorted, it's out of frequency. And when that happens, the physical body takes notice and listens to that, and then screams out and says, hey, there's something wrong with this part of your body, that part of your mind, your eyes, there's something wrong. So basically, it's an energy in your body. Now, you'll have heard the expression, everything is energy. It's true. Every single part of your body is energy. And if that energy field is vibrating at what's called a high frequency, a high vibration, which we do vibrate at until we are bombarded by the wrong foods, poisons, bombarded by the poisons in the skies, bombarded by poisons on the screen, which is poisoning you with fear, bombarding you with the poisons in the water, which is not water, and so on and so on. You realize that your frequency is not vibrating at that high vibe, which we need to be. We need to be on a high vibe. And that's normal. High vibe is normal. So please write this down if you've got a pen, or please remember this. There was a very famous quote, which was, happiness is not a destination, it's a way of life. I want you to change that quote around. So it's no longer happiness, it's now healing. So healing is not a destination, it's a way of life. That I'd like you to write down somewhere and put it on your board, because let me ask you this question. If you were to just sit and just think about your body right now and ask yourself, which is the weakest part of my body? Could it be the mind that's always in stress? Could it be a physical part of your body which is can't cope anymore with whatever it's wrong, the root cause of the issue, blah, blah, blah? Where is it in the body? Okay. Now ask yourself where that thing, how do you think it started? And how long do you think it took to get to that? Do you think it happened yesterday and started? You know, when did your pain start? It started last year. When did you think that pain started to happen? Do you think it was like in one day? Do you think it happened in one day and then the next day you got it? Do you think it happened in that day when you got sick? Be honest, think about it. Because my understanding now is that our illnesses take many, many, many years to come to fruition in the body. So what you see as a final example of your root cause is, oh, I've got a pain. Oh, I've got an infection, or whatever that may be. Oh, I've got depression. All of these things don't just happen in one day. Very rare, very rare. There's maybe 1% out of that it does happen, which is shown to us by way of, I had a client when I was a hairdresser, and I used to cut his hair. Beautiful lad. His mum died. The following day, he came to me and he had a white stripe down here because of the shock of what happened to his mum dying. So, like, it happened in a day. And like what I'm saying is, it happened when he came to me. It wasn't the day his mum died. He came to me, a few weeks later when he needed his hair cutting, and he got this white stripe down. And I said, are you okay? He says, yeah, my mum died. And I said, wow, that white stripe. He said, yeah, the next morning I got the white stripe down. So there is 1% of times where we have a shock energy and it can show up instantly. That I do understand, but that's very rare. I believe over the years that I've worked with clients is that the cause of your sickness, the cause of your illness or disease, or your believing that you've got psychological damage, or that you can't get rid of this whatever it is merely the venting of the body, or the moment that the body cannot cope. There's no mechanism to cope with that anymore. And it has to show itself by way of physically, mentally, and emotionally and spiritually. So my point being, 99% of our unbalance is a long, long time ago. Now, we can argue it could be a child trauma that we can't even remember. We could even argue that it goes back to a past life. But predominantly, when I worked on clients, I used to just start to work on them. And I found that, again, 99% of the time, the issue was when they were a child or when they had a divorce. But mostly, if we were looking at percentage wise, 99% would be when we're a child. Then, and then when you get to teenagers, the percentage keeps going down till you get older and older. So if we see this as it could be when we were a child. Now, I'll give you a great example. I had a client who had irritable bowel syndrome like me, and it was very severe. And I know exactly how they felt. And I said, yeah, I know just what you're going through. I know. When was your last attack? It was 2 days ago. I'm here now because I can't go on in life. I know all of this. Okay, so I'd sit them down and give them a reading first, and I'd attune. I'd put my hands over their hands and feel their energy and start to attune to irritable bowel. And normally I found with a lot of my clients with irritable bowel is that their childhood was traumatic. Now, this might make you all think this isn't all true, but I believe that a very high percentage of our issues stem from the outside world that is an attack on our inside world, whether it be physically, emotionally, or spiritually. And a lot of the times, all those attacks from family, friends, and everything else, it kind of like, when it comes to you in this is the only way I could really explain when I first started. It almost sits in the head. And when you don't really have an explanation, when you don't have, like, you can't really explain why something so traumatic happened to you, and why people are so bloody horrible, why our parents can do what they do, it's very hard to understand that. And what happens is, it first of all goes round in your mind. The thoughts and the negativity and the worry and the fear of, was it me? Did I do something wrong? Why did they do that? To eventually, it just sits there dormant. And what happens then is it overflows like a grey toxic matter, and it runs down from the top of your head down through your eyes, your nose, your teeth, your mouth, your throat, your heart. And it always seems to sit in the stomach, the pit, I call it, the spiritual pit. So a lot of the times, those issues we had sit in the stomach. And sometimes they can go a little bit further, and then they can go down to where our private parts are. And a lot of women struggle to get pregnant because of that as well. And I realized that, just on a side note, why are women struggling to get pregnant? And then when they choose to adopt or choose to accept that they can't have children, all of a sudden get pregnant, because they've accepted that they're not going to have any children anymore. They adopt. This happens so many times with me. I know, I've got so many clients who've got adopted children and had another child straight after. Why is that? Because they've let go of the fear of needing or wanting a baby. The clock is ticking, which actually caused the block of having a child. So when they accepted, I don't think I'm never going to have any children. So how are you about that? I'm actually fine about that. In fact, we're going to adopt a dog, or we're going to adopt a child, or I'm okay with that now. My life's going to change now. So I noticed that there was a massive change in body becoming high vibe again and healthy again within a matter of 2 months, 3 months maximum. And then they get pregnant. So I used to say this to people all the time when they came to me, and I could feel that they were blocking themselves from getting pregnant. Well, if you understand that, it's the same energy as blocking yourself from healing. So if you think to yourself, if you panic over being ill, you are reinforcing that illness. Do you see or not? Because there is definitely something in that. I was going to go to this second part, but I'm going to bring the second part into the first part, There is something about voodoo which we do to ourselves. So the voodoo that you do so well, and that is what's called the reverse or the opposite or the let's say placebo effect. So what is the placebo effect? This is all about root cause issue. The placebo root cause and healing. Okay, the placebo effect is that you go to a doctor, the doctor gives you a tablet which is made of salt or sugar, whatever it is, and you swallow it. And then 2 weeks later, the issue that you had has gone. How's that issue gone? You've still got the same issue. You've taken a tablet that serves no purpose at all to what the doctor said it was, but you believed it. So that is a massive part of the healing process. Massive. So the reason why I started this by telling you about the blood pressure was because there's no such thing as you being sick the same every single moment of the day. Your sickness depends on how you're feeling. The sickness depends on how you're feeling. If you're feeling bad, the sickness gets worse. If you're feeling good, the sickness gets, there's no such thing as getting better, but your sickness disappears. And then it comes back again. Well, why is that? Because there's no sickness there at all. It's just a frequency and energy that you either reinforce and you believe and you voodoo your spell into by a doctor saying, yes, you have this disease. So a doctor is a voodoo speller without even realizing. I'm sorry, but he is. Okay? If he says to you, oh, you're going to be fine, and he can't do that really, can he? But he did do at one point, because at one point they used to use these placebo tricks, which basically, do you know what placebo means? It's been stolen out of love and out of the most greatest power we all hold. It's been stolen. It's been hijacked by darkness, and they knew it, because that is the most dangerous cure for mankind. And that is, placebo means self-healing. And you, my friends, are a natural healer. It's just that you've been told you're not. You've been brainwashed to run to a pharmaceutical shop. You've been brainwashed to run to a doctor. And 93% of any issues that you have when you start getting sick, if you don't go to the doctors in 3 or 4 days or 5 days or 6, 7 days, I guarantee you that your illness or sickness or whatever you're going through disappears, because your body heals itself. But we've been trained by the pharmaceutical industry to run as quickly as we can and say there's something wrong. So he prescribes you something, and then you're in the cycle of that darkness and that voodoo spell. So there is a placebo, which is also the opposite of placebo. And that is, if you can heal yourself because you believed in a tablet that did nothing, but then you healed yourself, then the same too goes for, if you believe yourself ill, you will get ill. It's as easy to get ill as it is to get better. In fact, it's easier to get sick than to get better. So the reverse of placebo in that sense is that I believe I am sick, therefore I am sick. And guess what your body says? Your body says, okay, is that what you think? Well, if that's what you think, we are going to give you what you want. So, number one golden nugget of truth that I believe in wholeheartedly: I am not sick. In fact, I don't even say that. I say I am well, I am happy, I am strong, I am well, I am healed, I have high vibes, I am amazing, I am powerful, I am a self-healing, beautiful mechanism. I am well, I am healthy, I am healthy, I am healthy. You may laugh at that, but I'll tell you something. I've seen more miracles out of those words and that energy within a space of 1 month, that people who claimed they were sick for the rest of their life became as healthy as any of you and I who are healthy today. I don't need to repeat myself, but I had 2 what was called labels by the doctor. They've disappeared, and they said that I would never ever be a normal human being again. I would always have these sicknesses. They've gone. So whenever asked a doctor these things, their eyebrows raise like that, and they go, normally they say, some things can't be explained. No, they can be explained, but you can't explain it, because if you explain it, you will lose your job, because the pharmaceutical industry will fire you. So it's a voodoo spell, and they are chained and tied up to that very voodoo cult that they're in. Some break free and some see through it, and some are more powerful to walk away from it and then start to explain this, but very few. Where is the issue related to your where is the pain? Where's the suffering? Where is it? Where do you suffer most of all? What part of your body do you suffer? Where is it you suffer? This is a great question. So I can't really say anything because I'm not suffering. I had a bad day today, but I'm not suffering because I know why I had a bad day. I understand why people attack me, and it doesn't bother me for long, and it's gone, but surely makes you open your eyes to see things. But that's a good thing, because at least we know the experience and we can move forward knowing that experience. So where is the issue? Where's your issue? Where's your issue? Okay, so first of all, if we start to look at the whole body as a body temple, that's a beautiful thing. But also we need to look at the body as slices all the way down. So the first slice would be there, the top of the head. So that's the first thing. So if you've got an issue at the top of the head there, that section, if you've got a headache, if you've got migraine, if you've got loss of memory, if you've got issues in the brain, lots of problems, then you can clearly see that there's something up here that is causing the pain and suffering. So what you've seen, what you've heard, what you've eaten, what you've drunk, is related to that. So, but looking at root cause of the brain, we now need to ask ourselves what actually is within the brain that we may have done in the past, looked at and experienced. And is there anything, can I relate to anything in the brain of why I've got Alzheimer's or coming up with loss of memory and things that are going wrong in the brain, right? We're not functioning. I'd like to give you one of my favorite examples. Just down the road here, there was a beautiful man that used to come to my healing center, and he'd come for a healing session, and he'd sit down and his wife would be holding him because he couldn't kind of walk properly, and he normally get lost, get up in the morning and, try to open the car door and didn't know where he was. And it was very, very sad. And I'd give him a healing session. I put my hands over his head and start to work on the head. And all of a sudden he'd come back to life again. He'd come back to himself. So something happened and it was him again. And she would always cry and say, oh, he's back again, right? And they give each other a cuddle, and I could see it in the eyes, right? So what started that? Well, they bought a property down the road here, and they paid a lot of money for it. He was a football player for Nottingham Forest, a very famous football player back in the 70s. And obviously he retired, and they wanted to retire and have a good life. So they bought this beautiful house with amazing land all around it. I've been there, okay? So I know personally. And I remember saying to her, something's triggered this off. And I couldn't figure out what it was, but I knew it was something that I believe was dual energy, anger and fear and frustration. Anger, frustration with the anger and fear of something, and it was stuck in the head. So I said one day when I went to the house, it's beautiful here, what's going on down there? She says, well, that's a long story. And I'm like, oh yeah, please tell me what's the story, because I had a feeling that something major had happened in his life, which was a constant. It hadn't stopped. So the story was that they bought this land, and the following day when they got there brought all their stuff from the UK, All of a sudden, there was a big JCB in their land, on their land. And he walked over and said, "What you doing?" And the guy in Spanish says, "This is my land." And he says, "It's not your land. I've got the Escritura here. This is my land." He says, "No, it's mine. And I'm building a road through here and I'm building properties here. This isn't your land." Thus started a 20-year battle with these people. And the outcome was the mind couldn't cope anymore. And it was the only mechanism that then blew up. And thus, that's the mind. So any issues with your mind is normally because what you're eating or what you're not eating, and emotionally, what you're living through, what your environment is, and what your issues are, and what you are living through, and what you are holding on to. The fear, frustration, any kind of negative energy, which is long term, that normally affects the mind. So these are golden nuggets of truth that you can hold on to and think about. Go down to the eyes. The eyes are pretty easy to figure out. If your eyes are straining, if they hurt, it's because you are witnessing with your eyes things that make you sad, upset, angry. Anything to do with your eyes is what you're looking at. So change your environment with your eyes. Look at beautiful things. Go into nature and look at trees, look at flowers, look at anything beautiful. And you'll find that you'll clear away a lot of the pain and frustration of life. Spend more time away from the black screen and from negative situations. Like I did today. I had a negative situation today, but I was in Mother Nature. I spent a lot of time in Mother Nature. I should have been working, but I spent a lot of time in Mother Nature alone, looking at beautiful things. Changed my frequency instantly. Beautiful. So, eyes is what we see. Ears is what we hear. Your environment is also important. What's your environment like? So these things are equal to everything that I'm talking about. Environment, what you eat, what you don't eat, what you drink, what you don't drink, who you're with, the people that you surround yourself with. And again, with the ears, it's got a lot to do with what you're hearing. So if you've got an abusive person always saying negative things, if you're working alongside somebody who's always saying horrible things in a sneaky way, if you're hearing things that you don't want to hear, but you're overhearing them, anything like that will sit in your ears and start to cause issue and pain. You get down to your throat. Again, it's obvious what you're saying, what you're not saying. If you're saying horrible things, then you are going to start to get issues with your throat. A lot of my clients got throat cancer. Why? Because what they were saying was something that their soul and spirit didn't want to say. I.e., a lot of people are getting throat cancer now because what they said in these 3 years, telling people what they have to do, which they know deep down in their soul they shouldn't have said, is now starting to show itself in cancer or big issues in the throat. This is true. This is happening. Look online, you'll see it. There's a lot of throat issues right now with people, a lot. And that normally, when you're happy, filled with joy, and you're singing and dancing and happy, your throat's fine. So that is because you're saying or not saying what you should say. That is equally as bad. So a lot of people who have got throat issues now never said what they should have said. So it then builds up into this negative energy and then causes lots of problems with the throat. Moving down a little bit more, the shoulders are what I consider to be everything that sits there through the trials and tribulation of life. So normally it's the heavy things. I'll give you a great example. I always knew when a child wasn't happy, because the child would put their head down, slump, walk slowly, and then I'd look at another child who would be skipping, and I'd realize that the difference between the two is one child has no negative energy, no weight, no cross to carry, no burden too heavy to sit on their shoulders. And a lot of the times it's to do with work or to do with related issue of experience of other people putting their baggage on top of you. So shoulders has a lot to do with how people put upon you all the time. And often with the shoulders, I used to say to my clients, saying no to people is saying yes to yourself and healing you from the burden of too much weight on the shoulders. So it's a bit like driving in a car for 2 days or 3 days. Your shoulders tense up. Why? Because you are frustrated. You're tensed in the, and you're focused, fully focused, and you're tense, and your hand is tight on the steering wheel and your shoulders, and then you start getting bad shoulders. Or you're working too many hours. You can feel the weight on your shoulders. It's all to do with carrying too much weight, too much focus on one thing instead of relaxing. So the shoulders, to me, tend to always mean that people take too much work on and they never know how to say no. That's what I saw in a lot of my clients. To give somebody a shoulder massage, anybody, you will find they will feel so much better from a shoulder massage. Always feel better. Just like a head massage, you'll always feel better with a head massage. Always. So moving down a little bit, we come to around about the heart area. I always found that the heart area was to do with sensitivity. So everything sensitive is to do with the heart. I always found that anyway. Always sensitive people with the heart. Obviously, there's the other part where people might smoke too much and drink too much. Of course, that's different. But a lot of the times is that there's a lot of sensitivity going on in the heart. Lots of stuff, spiritually speaking, in the heart. And what is that? Well, the heart to me is the connection to the soul, the real you. So your heart, if you want to know where it all starts from, where that pinprick of light of you, it's the heart. Some people might argue with that, but I've always felt it was the heart. Why? Because I always feel something powerful. And I'll tell you something else as a healer. I always found that when I was giving healing to the heart, it was like I was blasting energy to the heart all the time. And I could feel the heart getting bigger in an energetic frequency. So the heart would get stronger and stronger and stronger. And funnily enough, the more you work on the heart, the more people are more aware of things. So the sensitivity to the heart makes sense. If the heart's stronger, then it's like strengthening the heart, which then allows the consciousness to be what it's meant to be. You are meant to be who you're meant to be. It only works well when the heart works well. The consciousness can easily be targeted if you're sick. If you're sick, then the consciousness doesn't have the same power. That's why you have to be balanced, mind, body, and spirit. So the heart to me was always to do with suffering, long-term suffering, pain of like a lost one. Grief is one where it will sit in the heart, but it also can go down to the stomach as well. Normally, and I'll go back to that, but the heart is normally where we are not being who we're meant to be. We have not achieved what we're meant to achieve. We don't know who we are or why we're here. Now, all of that has been hijacked by those very people who have told you that you have to have a good job. You have to know what you want to do. You have to be this. You have to do that. You have to get married. You have to have children. You have to do this. You have to get insurance. You've got to get a house. You've got to, and so on and so on. That is a hijack because it's there it's like a diversion. So the house doesn't matter. The marriage doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Only what matters is your happiness and joy. Well, that's bullshit in this world. You can't have that. Grow up. Get a life. Stop being a bum. What you're talking about? You're not going to. Of course you are. That's how the world works. No, it doesn't work like that, pal. No, it doesn't. So, we instantly attacked, and we are sleight of handed in before we even get a chance to even figure ourselves out. Everything's been figured out for us because they know that if they can entrap us in the world of darkness, then we never know who we are. Thus, the heart is probably one of the biggest places most people have issues with. Heart attacks, heart issues, heart murmurs, all the same. Heart, anything to do with a heart beating not right, and so on. It's all because of we have not found our true self. We have not connected to our oneness and who we are, and we do not listen to that. We listen to the brain, or we listen to the outside influence. You normally find somebody with a strong heart who's independent, who smells the bullshit and says, I'm not interested in what you're telling me what to do. I'm doing what I want to do. You normally find they've got the strongest hearts. The weakest of hearts are the ones who don't know who they are, what they're doing, what they want, and they rely on government. They rely on other people to tell them what they do. They rely on psychiatrists, doctors. They're the ones with the heart that I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm doing. They normally have nothing what they can actually really feel the strength from their connection to their consciousness, because they're sick or they're ill or they're worried or all these things. So that's the heart. I could go on. Then we get the tummy. The tummy for me has always been that I've seen with people with cancer, stomach cancer, issues with the stomach. It's normally abuse. That's what I say the stomach is. It's abuse. It's deliberate abuse that you receive. So my dad abused me. My dad abused my mum. My mum had to deal with the abuse of her children. She had to watch her children being abused as well as being abused herself. So she, of course, got stomach cancer, because that's the cry out. Because any shock energy, it lands in the stomach. And remember the pit. Everything goes down there predominantly. Okay. So the stomach is the most vulnerable to all of us, really. But shock energy to me is what I noticed. Wow, shock energy. I've noticed the shock energy of people, and the shock energy is it's awful. And the shock energy doesn't always mean, right? Because there's always different multiple things happening at once. So what you eat may aggravate it or aggravate it, but the thing is, it wouldn't have been aggravated with what you eat unless you had it to begin with. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? No, the emotion, the pain, the suffering, what the physical came second, because that's the showing you that the stomach's wrong. That's why you're sick that's why you can't eat certain foods. It's not because the food's wrong. Most of the time, your body is powerful, it's strong. But if you start to get spiritually sick with emotion, with all the abuse and toxic and all that nastiness, then everything else goes wrong. So the tummy is a fascinating place. And a physical fall, a bang, a shock energy, that hits in the stomach as well. Somebody saying something awful to you, or you hearing a bad thing, something bad that's really affected you, that goes to the stomach. It's the shock energy. Does anybody understand that? When you get shocked, it goes to the pit of your stomach. I don't know if you do or not, but I do. We go down, we move around the back now, and we go to the kidneys. But the kidneys are probably one of the most important parts, as well as the heart. Everybody part's important. Shut up, Mark. It's all important. But the kidneys are kind of like the liver and kidneys, to me, are kind of similar. It's all to do with clearing, purifying, detoxifying. So all of these parts are really important. So what I noticed about the kidneys was it's in the back. And for me, I don't know why, but a lot of my clients who were healers, who were good people, always beautiful, good people, suffered with kidneys. And why? Because they were attacked a lot. And I noticed with a lot of healers as well that negative energy sits down there as well. So a lot, for some reason, well, it kind of makes sense really. If there's negative energy, what part of your body is going to clean it and filter it? Well, if you eat bad foods, what part's going to clean and filter it? The kidneys. Makes sense. So they work on two energies, the physical and the spiritual. So the negative energy tends to sit there, and that's why you put your hands there a lot of the times, because you're self-healing. And without knowing that your body is generally a healer all the time, and your hands are a blaster of negative energy. That's why you put your hands there, and it's true. It really is. But what I found fascinating is a lot of healers, and I mean serious healers, pure energy healers, Reiki healers, pranic healers, shamans, um, spiritual healers all over the world. When they get older, they suffered with they couldn't walk properly. They had issues with their bodies, and predominantly it was that part. It was the kidneys and sometimes the liver. So I realized that, wow. And then there was a lot of times that I found people being like really sick. And then I'd ask, what, your kidneys, they're really bad. Are you okay at home? Or tell me about your friends. Have you, in the past, have you been attacked by, oh, yeah. I had a really good friend. We were best friends. And then I found out she was being nasty and she was saying awful things about me. And do you find that a lot? Yeah, happens to me all the time. It's like, I'd befriend somebody and then all of a sudden they're nasty behind my back. What, like jealous? Yeah, jealous, really jealous. And I don't, why? Because, you might have, let's say, a beautiful husband. You might have a beautiful family. You might have a great life. And those who befriend you are jealous of all of that. And then you find out later that they actually hate you and they might want as your husband or want as your lifestyle. This was true. I saw this as a fact. And I used to do a lot of healing on there, and I used to try and help them by saying, look, I've got a friend who's a uriologist. Let him look at your eyes. And then he'd say, you've got a problem with your liver and kidneys. And it's like everything matched up. So we then did the process, and this is something really important. To find a really good healer who knows how to clear negative energy and go to the root cause and heal that and help heal that, because it can be done. It's not all always about words. It's about healing, because you can heal root issues. Okay, you can clear that negative trauma. You can do it. It's possible. But it's also even better when you've got an uriologist who works on a natural format, or somebody who works with herbs, and somebody who works in that natural field of what to eat and what not to eat. I keep saying, because sometimes you might not eat something bad, but then you need to eat something good to feel better and to heal yourself. On a side note, a lot of people think they've got bad back issues, when really it's the kidneys. Really, it's true. I know a lot of people who said, oh, it's my back, it's never going to get right. And then I sent them to an uriologist, and they get, oh yeah, in my eyes, it says that, I've got issues with my kidneys, and I need to filter and clear my kidneys. And then I'd see them 6 weeks later or 2 months later, and they say, oh, I've got no pain in my back anymore. Now, how do I know that? I know that because I personally experienced that myself as well. So going down to the private parts, that is something that I said to you before about women not being able to have children, women having problems down below, as well as men. Now, this is also something, in my opinion, to do with, it's a double energy. It's frustration energy in relationship, sometimes connected to sexual, right? I do believe that not having sex, but in the environment of what you're in. So I often revert back to one of my clients who was a beautiful man, but he had problems with his testicles. And the reason why is because he was in 2 relationships and neither of them knew about the relationship. So he was torn between the relationship. And a lot of the times when we're in a bad relationship, in a negative relationship, when we have struggles and worries about the relationship, and if it's to do with sexual, or even the thought of sexual relation, anything like that, tends to sit down below, and frustration is then obviously attached to that as well. And this could be long term as well. So we can keep going lower and lower and lower, right down to the feet. But I just wanted to share that little bit of information with you to where the private parts are. Root cause. I wrote down here, root cause is the only long-term solution or real healing to the root cause, or to the root cause illness. So I think what I was saying, what I meant by that, is that the root cause of your issue, the only solution of healing that is to really heal, or keep healing, keep going, keep healing that, and eventually it disappears. Now, you might ask the question, does it return again? I think the physical takes longer to heal than the spiritual. The spiritual it's easier to heal the spiritual, and the physical will heal itself. But if you then go back into a negative place, then the weakest point of your body, once it's healed, once the whole body is healed, if you have another trauma, then you find that energy will target the weakest point again and cause a disruption. So be aware of that root cause. The only way you can heal the root cause is it's a long-term solution, and it's ongoing. That's the only real healing. I think what I'm trying to say is that there's nothing that you can do to take a tablet, or to say, okay, that's it, it's instant. I don't believe that. It took me many years to heal, and people don't want to hear that because they've been brainwashed. So what they're going to do, they're going to take the quickest route. They're going to run to the doctors and have chemo or whatever it is, and because they're frightened of death, they're frightened of dying. And I'm just working. Maybe I shouldn't say that. No, I'm not. I know somebody, right, who's got cancer, right, down below. And instead of cut it off, they said, no, I'm not doing that. And they've been working. They're using Don Tolman's oil. They've been using my oils. They've been eating healthy. They've been working on their inner child. They've been working on their doubts, fears, worries, and frustrations. They've gone to numerous places to learn healing. They've done many different things. They've gone on a quiet retreat and many things, and lots of different healers. And that lump now is going down and down and down. It's hardly even noticeable. And this person keeps going without a thought of, okay, it's gone now. No, I've got to keep doing this. I've got to keep healing myself. I'm going to keep working on myself. Forget that. This is about me healing myself. This is about me healing myself. It's about me healing myself. It's not about that. Don't look at that. Oh my God. Oh, it's getting smaller. Everything's okay. I'll go back to normal. No. No, we change our life and we heal ourselves and we eat correctly and we work on ourselves every day. And thus, this guy didn't run to the mainstream. And I'll tell you, 90%, 95%, 99.9% will run to the mainstream, even though they talk about knowing, all, seeing, and all. I am this guru, or I am a specialist in healing and all that. They'll run to, I tell you, they'll run straight to, in fact, Dr. Hammer did. Dr. Hammer lived over the end here, famous for exposing the truth about all sorts of stuff, bad stuff. And he used to do x-rays, and he used to be able to, brain scans, bring your brain scan. He'd look at your brain scan and say, okay, that's what's wrong with you. It started off when you were 6 years old. There's your trauma. There's it start. Because when a brain scan is given, people can read it like if a tree gets chopped down and you look at the age of the tree by the circles, he could see that each circle in there was a point where there was trauma. Like if you look at, these are the signs that are given in the world. If you say to an archaeologist, tell me about when there was water in these rocks, he can say, oh, look, it's about this date, and you can see here where there was a flood, right? Same with the brain. It can tell you where your trauma is. So Dr. Hammer could easily see what your trauma was, okay? And he'd tell you that was your trauma, that was the date, and he was bang on. And I know this as fact, bang on, right? However, he had a child who got cancer, and what did he do? Rushed the child and had chemotherapy. So these who talk about it, most of them would still do chemotherapy and radiotherapy. So don't ever beat yourself up. Most people would do that. But this man that I know, who's only 26, decided to say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not cutting anything. I'm going to see if I can get rid of it myself. He made that choice and started doing it. I never told him to. He just said, I am not going down the medical route and filling my body with poisons and getting sick and ill. And, and now it's like he's like a different man. He's getting stronger. All of that, rubbing Don Tolman's oil on the back. Like I said, taking herbs, cleaning his body, because at the end of this, I'll explain one of the major factors of these illnesses now. So that's my understanding on that. I talked about the voodoo spell. The more you watch scary things, the more you believe scary things, the more you create them in your life. The more you believe there's illnesses and sicknesses, and you create that by way of the placebo, the opposite of the placebo. So you become your placebo. You become what you believe. Health, to me, is eating correctly, watching what you eat, eating non-pesticides, which will add to the aggression of your body not being able to flush the poisons out of your body. Because if you are struggling with spiritual stuff in your life and emotion, then your liver and kidneys won't work as well, so it won't clean out as much as it should do. I think the body is very powerful when you're happy. When you are sad, then I think your body runs down, the immune system runs down, and then illness is easy to start to occur. And so we need to look after our body by what we put in our mouth, what we don't put in our mouth. We need to exercise. We need to go into Mother Nature. We need to cleanse and clear our environment wherever we are. If there's any toxicity between right this moment, if anybody's toxic to me, that's it. I'm not interested. See you later. Go away. If you can't be nice to me like I'm nice to you, then piss off. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel now. I'm not having it in my life. And that's power, because now you're saying I am more important than being sick and ill. Because I'll tell you what, pal, you won't be anywhere near me if I'm in that bed sick, and you won't help me. So don't talk to me like that, because I'm not becoming sick and ill because of you. I don't care whether it's your boss. I don't care whether it's your family member. I don't care whether it's your partner. Nobody is going to speak to me like that. Don't you speak to me like that. If you do, on your way. Just go now. Don't ever see me again. There's 8 billion people in this world. Do you think I'm worried about you? I'm not. I love people because they love me for who I am, and I love them for who they are. That's it. That's all I want in my life. I will not deal with having to tread carefully with somebody. And I don't care whether you live with somebody and you've got no choice. Not my pig, not my farm. It's your issue. I live with people like that. I made the choice. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it no more. I don't care. I just don't care, because I am not becoming sick and ill. So I can then no longer look after my children and the people that I love and help people like you every day. So I say, no, I'm not having it. And when somebody says something nasty on social mainstream media, off, bye, take care, not arguing, not interested. I haven't done anything to upset you. There's nothing. Just because I've said truth and you're upset with that, get yourself off. Go on and shout at somebody else. So these things are important. Environment and who you speak to and who you sit with, who you're around, because you can pick up that environment. Why? Are you talking stupid, Mark? No, I'm not. If you've ever been with a group of women who work together, like I have as a hairdresser, if one person has a monthly period, everybody else gets it. What does that say? Is that's just a thing? No, it's not just a thing. That's what mainstream media tell you. It's just a thing. That's what mainstream medicine tell you. It's just a thing, because they know it's so in your face that if you understood that and said, hey, hang on a minute, this isn't just a thing. This is reality. Let's talk about this. Oh, no, they don't want you to talk about that. Why don't you want to talk about it? Because it's the fundamental truth that they can't hide. So they mock and ridicule, or they don't even say anything about it. When women get together, they have a period, and all of them have it. There is only one reason in my understanding why that is, and that is energy and frequency. You might say they give off a scent, but in my humble opinion, it's frequency. So if my frequency goes into somebody else's frequency, and I'm a woman, which I'm not, and I'm not a trans, and I'm a man, and there's a man and there's a woman, there's nothing in between, and I don't care what anybody says. That is the truth. When women are together, not trans women, when women are together, okay, and one has a period, there is a massive, massive chance that all the other women have the period at the same time. Why is that? Because when somebody's vibrating at that frequency, it goes into everybody else's frequency, and their body then says, oh, I need to do that. Thus, you understand what real energy is and how it works when you're next to somebody. You can vibrate at somebody else's frequency if there's enough around you. Why do you think people fight in football matches? Why do you think people fight in crowds? There's something about energy that can cause your energy disruption, and you can feel angry. You can feel sick. You can feel anything because your body will vibrate at it. So these are things that you can think about. So I'm very careful who I sit with. I don't want my energy in toxic energy. So I'm careful who I'm with now. Very careful. A great example is you feel good, and then you walk into a supermarket, or you walk into a shopping center, and then you're drained and you feel sick and you feel exhausted after an hour or half an hour. You got to get out of there, right? That's because of the energy that they have. And that energy is people haven't got any money. They're spending money they don't have on their credit card that's over, they owe fortunes to. They're all frustrated. They don't know what to do, what to buy, or they're buying something because they want to try and feel better, but they don't feel better when they buy it. And they're all in this state of trying to find some sort of purpose and healing and health, which they won't do in there. And that's chaos energy. So these things are important. So what are some of the remedies for all of this? Even though we know root cause is our past. Well, I've just explained one part. The other part is how we can help the body heal on a physical level. One thing I learned is find the roots. I got that so many times, and now I'm seeing it more and more. Find roots to heal, because roots heal root causes. Herbs, find herbs. Start to study herbs, whether it's studying from Dr. Morse, whether it's studying from the ancient wisdom that has been around for years and years. Study roots and herbs. Dr. Seabear, whether you like him or not, I don't care about his family. I'm talking about just look at some of the stuff he talks about. Just try it. Of course, the wonderful Don Tolman, of his understanding of fruit and vegetables, and how each fruit has an electric energy to heal a certain body part. These things are also wonderful to look at. Now, I'd like to finalize tonight, because it's nearly an hour now, and finalize, and then I'll take some of your questions if you want. Finalize on one thing that I have noticed has become paramount to our healing now. And of course, probably some of you already know this. Out of not even realizing myself and channeling these things, I found that parasites are now number one cause of our happiness, joy, and they're number one cause of our unbalance, frustration, sadness, our depression, and all of those names that you use to label yourself. You clear parasites from your body day after day, and keep working on clearing parasites from your body. You will find that you will feel healthier, and your spirit will get stronger, and you will just feel better, and you won't feel sick as much at all. You're just like, I'm feeling better every day. So parasite teas, parasite cleansers, parasite enemas, whatever you want to do, clear the colon and work towards clearing the parasites in your brain. I believe parasites are number one enemy. They're number one enemy now in our body. And I believe, this is my belief, I think there's a massive connection between that, what they stuck in us, to parasites. And I can't explain what it is, but I think there's a very dark and devious connection between the parasites and that. There's something in there that has caused some kind of disruption and more of an issue. So You have to start to look towards cleansing. I personally use right now, because I went on a very, very heavy detox of parasite cleanse, and that was mugwort, that was wormwood, and that was sage. Drinking that every day for maybe 200 days now, maybe more. Now I'm just slowly going easy with mugwort and sage, and now, like today, I'm just on mugwort. So that's great. I drank mugwort today. I've had a glass of mugwort, and it's just a tea, and I just just start a tiny little bit, or maybe go to Carl de Clark. I had him on one of my videos. Look at his website, find out what he's got. There's also, I know he's a little bit OTT, is all about sell, but they are pretty good. And that is David Avocado. He's got a cleansing, clear the pests out, clear the stuff out of your stomach. They're in capsule form. Not too keen on capsules. I prefer the tea personally. And if you are going to take the teas, just take a little bit, just a little sip, and just see how you go. Just take another little sip. Introduce it into your body. Don't go crazy to start with, because, 1 or 2 people out of thousands struggle because they've got parasites. And if you're killing too many parasites, you can start to cause a lot of issue in your body. So just a little bit of steady away, and then get more and more and more. That will be a suggestion of mine. So I know I haven't covered everything. I'm sorry if I haven't, but it's 1 hour that I feel that I've shared only some golden nuggets of truth. I got tons more I could have talked about, tons, but there's only so much in an hour I can do. So I hope you appreciate that. And I haven't stopped talking for an hour. So I'm just going to click on here. From this point on, if anybody wants to ask a question, you may ask, and I'll try my best to answer it. If I don't know the answer, I'll just say I don't know. Okay, hang on. Maybe I'm not. Wow, there's a lot of people chatting, so hang on. Wow, there's a lot of conversation here. Okay. Quick question. Funny you say mugwort. I was just about to ask about this, but you already answered. I start taking the tea tomorrow. Like for me, just try a little glassful, just a little glassful. Just take that, because you've got the rest of your life to drink it. Okay. Like I drink it every day now, and I've been drinking it for, how long. I put it on my website. I started selling it, and like I've been drinking it ever since. And we sell literally hundreds a week. We sell so many all the time, and people love it. These are returning clients. Well, I'm glad I answered the question. Yeah, that's absolutely bang on. Trees, 100%, without a doubt. No, I can't at the moment. See, Don's oil is something that I believe my oils. I love my oils. I work with them every day. I send them off every day. People use them, and they get great benefit from it. And I get thousands of messages throughout the year, all the time. We've got tons, and they work because they're good, strong, powerful, and organic products. So I asked Don Tolman. I said, "Is it okay if I sell Golden Relief, because I love it on a healing level, physical healing level? It's fantastic." We agreed. We got a contract and we agreed. But the problem is, I didn't realize this. There's certain things that I just can't get here. I got most of the products; they're in there, but I can't get gold. I can't get gold, and he puts gold leaf, little tiny fragments of gold leaf in there. And I said to him, I just can't get it done. They're all lies. It's all from China, and it's not even gold. It's all either copper or it's nothing. So I can't get gold. I can't get gold leaf. I don't want gold leaf, which is not gold. So, and he said, wow, he was like shocked. And I said, I can't. Nobody will confirm it's real gold. They're all liars. They're all cheats. So when you see all this gold leaf, it's not gold. It's not gold, guys. It's a lie. I've done my studying. I know, and I just can't get it. I've spoken to gold companies. I've talked to gold mines. There is none. I want gold. So I can't make it if I haven't got the product. And there's another 2 or 3 products that I can't get. Yeah, I can get it, but it's not organic. I don't want anything that's not organic. So it might take longer than what I thought, but when I do, I'll get it. If not, just a heads up, guys, if you're buying from Don Tolman, make sure you buy from the original Don Tolman and not the company that scammed him, who called themselves Don Tolman. The second, he's on my Instagram. No, he's not. He's on my Telegram page. So if you go to Telegram, Mark Bajewski Telegram, it's called Invoke TV. You'll see him there and send him a message. But I've got to be honest, it's really hard to get his products from America. It's not his fault. It's the government. The government are the evilest people in the world, all to do with Codex Alimentarius. They don't want anybody to start doing helping people with health, real health. So they're stopping people. And you want to get them products into your country, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. We struggled. We had to send it to somewhere else, to somewhere else, to somewhere else. And we had to wait 2 years to get the product. It was awful. And I didn't realize this. I had no idea how bad it was. So unless you live in, America, Canada, Australia, I guess you'll be okay there. But if you want to get it into Europe, it's a struggle. But I am still working on it. You too. Have a nice time at work. You're most welcome. Most welcome. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. Yeah, that's a great question, Mouse Nation. It's a great question. I asked the same question in a live to Avocado. I was on one of his lives and I said, "Hey, David, tell us how you heal parasites from the brain." And he went quiet and he said, "It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing." So for me, what I've noticed now, I sleep well. I don't struggle on full moons like I used to do. So I've definitely healed them in my brain. So how did I heal them? I started taking mugwort and sage, then mugwort, sage, and wormwood, and started drinking them for, I did about 79 days. And I enjoyed it. It was like, wow, it's strong stuff. But I just said, you know what? And then I got more used to it. And then it didn't affect me as much. But I kept saying to myself, every time I drunk it, this is going to go to my brain and it's going to kill them in my brain. And I'm a different person. I'm a different person. I can see I am. I can feel I am. I'm not as irate. I'm not knee-jerking the same. I'm thinking about things more than quickly rushing into, coming up with an answer. I'm getting better every day. So it does work, but it's a great question. And I don't think there's an easy answer to it. But I just think to myself this, okay, the brain works when there's fluid, and you'll hear all the best doctors like Dr. Moore said, drink plenty of water. Don Tolman, drink water. Well, there's a reason why, because the body functions like a car, and a car only works in the engine when you've got oil in there. So it's true that if the body pumps water around the body, it's bound to pump the same water into the brain. Therefore, if you brush your teeth with Colgate, the poisons in that are going to go to your brain. Well, if them poisons can go to your brain, then water's going to go to your brain, obviously. So if your body's pumping around water of the tea, it's going to go up there and start killing them. You might get a horrible headache like I did. But that's a sign that the parasites are now either dying and causing like a squid squirting stuff to try and stop you from attacking it. So it might squirt something inside, it might hurt your head, but eventually that hurt goes, or the stomach. Oh, my stomach is killing, because you're killing the parasites, and the parasites are trying to defend themselves by, this is how I see it anyway, like an octopus squirting ink. and killing everything. Oh, yeah, it does. So go slow with it, go steady with it, and just drink a little bit and just keep going. And if it doesn't, drink a little bit more, And if it's too much, slow down. No rush. But great question. You guys are beautiful. Thank you so much. God bless to you as well. Thank you. How do you remove heavy metals from the body? It's a great question. Heavy metals. I actually think the best person for that is either Dr. Morse. Go and ask him, or send him a message, or watch some of Dr. Sebi's old videos. If you've got herpes or AIDS, whatever they want to call it, all of these diseases, normally what happens is the disease hides in the heavy metals. If you clear the heavy metals, you normally find that the disease disappears. So there's a lot of herbs that you can use, that if you boil the herbs up and drink the tea, you'll find that in time you can literally clear. I had a client who cleared herpes. So they got a blood test. Now, here's one thing that you've got to understand. When they do a blood test, when you've got herpes, okay, they see that herpes came and it's in the blood. So they can see that it was there once, okay? But when you drink a lot of and clear a lot of this out of your body and all the heavy metals, and you're working all the time in drinking these herbs, right? The heavy metals disappear, and then you don't get a burst of oh, you've got a herpes again, and it causes these blisters. That disappears, and after so long, it all disappears and goes, never comes back again, right? And of course, you've got to work on your stress. That's part of it. The stress causes that. So it's a duality, like I said to you. Health is a duality of working on what you're putting inside your mouth or not putting inside your mouth. And because a lot of the times, I mean, I'm not an expert on herpes, but what I can say is that if you're eating, let's say, a raw food diet, you're gonna heal much quicker than if you're eating crap and sugar and meats and all the stuff that, you know. So there's so much heavy metals that there's so many things. I don't know, heavy metals, spirulina. You could go on and on, but I actually like the idea again of drinking herbs, but there's so many things you can use, but I'm not an expert on that. No idea. Sorry. If I've got the energy, thank you. Okay, guys. It's nearly past. Is there a way to on the soil on your property? No idea. I don't know. I don't have all the answers to everything. I just know I'm really an energy healer. Thank you. Brilliant. B, thank you. Love it. Beet juice, Jesus Christ. If I drink beet juice, it's like, oof, the parasites just go crazy in the stomach. So I literally feel like nausea through the whole of the day if I drink raw beet juice on its own. So if you're going to drink beet juice and you have a lot of parasites in your stomach, you might feel nausea all day or for an hour or two. So just be aware of that. For me, mugwort doesn't give me that nausea. I don't know why, but it doesn't. But yeah, you're right. Beet juice is fantastic. And there's also other fruits that you can take as well. Papaya seeds. If you crush papaya seeds and mix it into your drink, you'll feel nausea as well if you've got heavy parasites inside. So, wow, depends what the root cause is. Yeah, nothing's that quick to, like I said to you at the beginning of this, if my root cause was when my dad started beating me when I remember, he started beating me when I remembered, which was 7, 8, then that would be my root cause to the point where I want to now start to heal. So I was 38 years old. So you're looking at 30 years of healing, and it took me 3 years. That wasn't bad. So you could look at every 1 year is 10 years to, I'm making this up, but hey, it could be every 10 years could be 1 year. So if you're 40 and your husband, you got married at 20 and he started abusing you, from 20 to 40 is 20 years. So it's gonna take you 2 years to heal that. Maybe, every 10 years is what, I don't know, but I'm just saying that's what it did to me. So kind of makes sense to a lot of my clients. It normally, yeah, like depending on what they were going through, yeah, probably makes sense. But I'm not 100% sure. That I'm just thinking out loud. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Maybe I'll do a part 2. Let's see how I feel. But I hope you enjoyed tonight. I'm wishing you all an amazing evening. I hope I've given you some food for thought. I also want to say, let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food. And I also want to say, healthy environment is really important. Respect your body, respect your temple, and don't allow negativity into your life or into your life force. That way, your body has time to heal itself. Have a beautiful evening from my heart to yours. Thanks once again. And thank you for going to markbayerski.com and buying your parasite teas, your oils, your incense, and everything that I work with daily that keeps me strong. And whenever there's an issue and a problem, it just washes away and I feel better then. And I actually feel so much happier now that I've done this. So the more you give, the more you receive. So that's a beautiful thing as well, to bear that in mind. If you want to heal yourself more, then do good, be kind, be creative, be caring, do something that's productive. And that way you are always on the healing energy. All right. And become a healer. Don't matter where you go, become a healer. Because if you're learning this kind of field of work, then you're in it. And if you learn how to heal and you learn how to heal your body through energy healing, then you're healing yourself. You heal somebody else, you heal yourself. It's amazing. It's amazing. But healing changed my life. I never said that in this, but I became a healer, and that's when I healed myself. So the answer to everything is learn to be a healer. So go out there, go on a Reiki course, go on any course you want on healing, but do a healing course. Tell you. All right. Love you all. Bye for now. Take care. For some reason, I don't want to go. So, okay. Now I understand why. So I'm going to send 3 bags of parasite teas to 5 people. So if I get a yes, I'm just going to go to the first 5 people who say yes. You're all going to get 5 bags of parasite teas free from my heart to yours as a gift. So we've got my first yes, Darren. All right, Darren. Where else? Darren. Cosmic Connections. Gabrielle, lovely to see you, having you here. A beautiful soul as you are. Nancy. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. I said thank you. Didn't say yes. Okay, Mystic. artist. Okay. Just go to info@markbayerski.com, send them a message, say, hey, Mark said he's going to give me 3 teas. Okay. And they're going to send them to you by DHL. From my heart to yours. Once again, have a beautiful evening. Love you all. And have a great night. And enjoy yourself, whatever you're doing. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye.